See, when a prophet boldly stands in the uncompromisable will of God, God backs up their declaration. When we talk about the uncompromisable will of God, we're talking about God's display of righteousness, God's display of his commandments, his precepts, his display of his principles of his kingdom. He does not compromise that standard. He does not compromise his intent.
Yeah.
And when a prophet does not compromise the will of God and declares what thus said the Lord concerning his covenant, God will back him up. Why is it important for the people of God to understand, especially prophets, to understand covenants, the covenants of God?
I think it's important for a prophet to understand covenant, because if you don't understand the covenants that God has made with you and with the people, then you won't have that level of confidence. You won't understand that if God will, if I will, then God will. You won't understand the concept of being consecrated and having your faith at a level to where God will act on your faith and he will back you up. So if I don't understand that covenant that God has with me, if I don't understand the promises of God, then I won't have any unction to want to say something to somebody that I may feel maybe received in a different way, because I'm not understanding really, because I don't really know, because I don't understand that God has promised certain things to his prophets. He has promised that as I stand in him and I stand in integrity, like he said, then I know he will back up my words. So if I don't have that confidence, then I will not be standing in uncompromisably in his will. I will begin to move more from a flesh realm, or I might even not even say anything. I might be more mute because I don't understand that God has my back.
See, God only has your back when you obey the covenants. And listen, a lot of people don't understand the power of covenants. God does not operate outside of covenant.
Yeah.
Everything that God does, he does within covenant. Whether there are conditional promises or unconditional promises, everything that reveals the will of God is in covenants. So prophets, they must be students of the covenants of God, because the covenants of God displays to us the uncompromisable will of God. So if a prophet is not studious in the covenants, no matter what they prophesy, God's not going to back them up. There's covenants that God would back up if the prophet understands those covenants. That is the only way that God backs up the prophetic word of the prophet. That's the only way that God backs up the prophetic word of the prophetess, is she's prophesying from the covenant. If he's prophesying from the covenant, God backs him up. So Elijah understood the covenant was at work. Whenever Israel did wickedness, God said, I will shut up the heavens. It was not Elijah's word that caused the rain to stop. Elijah remembered the covenant. He told Moses that if the people violate this covenant,